Good morning, class. Professor Brittwiger here. Today we're going to start our first controversial history lesson. Now, you've all been under the impression of certain things in history, but I'm here to give you my take on it, because it makes more sense. Today we're going to learn about the birth of basketball. Now, we all know what basketball is, don't we? Well, here's how it originally started. Around the year 770 BC, there was a need for easier transfer of small garbage, small rubbish, from point A to point B. Being inventors, the ancient Greeks came up with an accurate tossing technique to throw it into a small container instead of going up to it. They called this toss-in, and it became a game at the office eventually, like many things we do in a boring environment. It later became a competitive sport. As all things, they develop and they grow. So, this technique, based on hunting accuracy, tossing, went on to become a competitive sport. Eventually, the ancient Olympics, which ran from, well, starting around 770 BC, only involved it later in its run, much later. Like basketball in this Olympics, it didn't get included right away. Now, near the tail end, it was called toss box. That's a translation. But because of its poor presentation, it resulted in the end of those Olympics, which was about 393 AD. Centuries later, it was about the year 1890 AD, and two friends who liked to explore. One was more of the water man, the other one was a ground man. And they happened to be vacationing in Greece around that time. And by luck, one of the friends happened to find some decently preserved scrolls. Looking at this, the one man named Samuel, who was the actual discoverer, who was the aquatic individual, he showed his other friend Jamie, who was the ground lover, these scrolls, and they realized by the diagrams and the rough translation that this toss box could be a really popular sport. But Jamie, being greedy and lazy, he killed his friend while out at sea or ocean or whatever, and tossed him overboard, and he was never to be seen again. Now, this is Canadian history, because Jamie was, in fact, James Naismith. Look it up. He was the man who began the invention of basketball, refined it from the toss box version, in 1891. The rest is history. If you have any arguments to this, any questions, please submit them to the comments under this video lesson, and we will discuss it in detail. For now, I am Professor Brittwiger, and we look forward to seeing you in the next history lesson of controversial nature. Class dismissed.